about chapter number 7, Changing Earth, and topic is coastal erosion. So let's start with a brief recap of this topic. How coastal erosion occurs. Anyone tell me? Yes, very good. Coastal erosion is the type of erosion which happens along the coast of rivers and seas. It means that it carries the weathered rocks away from the rivers to the shores of the seas and rivers. And how it happens, can anyone tell me the types of this coastal erosion? Yes, very nice, Amira. The types of coastal erosions are hydraulic action, attrition, abrasion, solution, and coastal landforms. Yes, who will tell me about the hydraulic action? Anyone of you can please tell me about the phenomena of hydraulic action, how it happens and how it causes erosion along the coast? Yes, very good, Minahil. Hydraulic action causes the erosion by the help of pressure or by applying pressure to the rocks. So we can say that hydraulic action can cause erosion by means of pressure. Yes. Now who will tell me about the process of attrition, how attrition causes erosion? Yes, think about it. Revise it in your minds. Yes, you are right. Very nice. The process of attrition causes erosion by bumping the broken particles of rocks with each other. So we can say that by bumping of rocks with each other. And when the rocks bump with each other, it causes the rough edges of the rocks to be smooth. So the third one is abrasion. What is abrasion? How abrasion causes erosion? Anyone? Yes, good. Abrasion can happen when the waves carries the sediments and broken particles along with them, and when they strike with the cliffs, it causes the lower parts of cliffs to be pierced and cause erosion. So the lower parts of cliffs wears due to waves and cause erosion. So who will tell me about the process of erosion with the help of solution? Anyone of you? Very nice. Solution means chemicals. So when the fast flowing water or water with pressure strikes with the rocks which contains the chemicals which are dissolved in water or immiscible with water. So these chemicals dissolve in water and carries the rock particles away from the water to the shores. So we can say that limestone and chalk. These are the rocks which can easily dissolve in water and carries away with the waves to the shores. So the last one is coastal landforms. How it happens and how it causes erosion. Okay, good. So the coastal landforms happens erosion when the cracks in the cliffs faced by the forced water. So it causes the small cracks in the rocks to become enlarged and form the caves. So we can say that cracks in cliffs become enlarged and form caves due to the fast flowing water. Okay class, let's start our new topic, which is wind erosion. So what comes in your mind first about this topic? Yes, good. As the name shows, wind erosion, so the erosion that occurs or happens by the help of wind or by the blowing of wind. So we can say that when the wind blows, it causes the soil particles and sedimentary particles or broken particles to be moved from one place to another. So it causes the wind erosion. And when the soil particles are moved away from one place to another by the help of wind, it causes the formation of hills to the place where the soil particles are deposited. So class, in where wind erosion happens? Think for a while. Yes, good. It happens on the places or the soil which has less vegetation and dry soil. In simple words, you can also say that the land which is bare and have no plants and vegetation on it. So this is the land which can easily bears its soil particles and rock particles. So wind causes the erosion at that place where there is less vegetation and the bare soil present. Can you think for a while that in how many ways it happens, wind erosion? Yes, good. It happens by blowing up the soil particles with wind, and it also causes when the soil particles are rolled up across the land. So we can say that by blowing up the soil particles with wind, and the second one is by rolling of sediments across the land. It also happens with the help of wind. So class, as you have seen in this picture, when the wind blows, the rock particles, when it strikes with the rock particles, and it causes the broken down of it, and the small particles are suspended in the air and move from one place to another. And the second one is it moves from one place to another by the help of creeping. As you have seen in this side, this rock particle is moving from one place to another by creeping along the land. And here we have seen that when the wind strikes this rock particle, it breaks down into smaller pieces and suspended in the air and moves from one place to another. So this is the way how wind erosion occurs. Wind can even shape solid rock as well. How can you consider it? That the solid rock which is tough, how it can be eroded? Yes, think about it. Good, good. Do more effort. Yes, very nice. So the soil particles, which also contain some hard minerals, when the wind blows and carries these hard minerals along the soil from one place to another, it causes the erosion. The example of the hard mineral is quartz. as the quartz is the hard mineral, so when it moves from one place to another with the soil, it causes the erosion of the other rock particles which are not so hard and tough. So class, let's start with the discussion of effects of wind erosion, that how it affects our lives. Yes. How can we explain that the wind erosion affects our lives? In how many ways it affects our lives? Yes, you are right. It affects the soil, or it affects our lives by washing away the fertile soil, and it leads to the damages of plants. So we can say that when the erosion happens through winds, it causes the enormous damage to farmland that loses its soil, and to the places where the soil is deposited. How it damages the soil where the soil particles that are eroded from one place to another deposited? Can you think for it? Yes, good. Because it causes the soil where it deposited the rock particles to stop the air which leads to the inner of it. Yes, it damages the soil and smothers crops. What is the meaning of smothers? Anyone of you tell me? Smothers. Yes, good. The meaning of smother is, or the phenomena which damage anything to be deprived of air. So, when the rock particles are deposited from one place to another, and the place where it deposited, it causes the air to stop going in it, and causes the fields to be damaged or died. So we can say that it affects our lives by damaging the plants, as we need plants for breathing or for food, and when the plants are not grown, so it affects our lives. And how we can say that it affects the health of animals and plants? Anyone can tell me? Yes, good. As it causes pollution, so it affects our health. When the air particles are moving in the, when the dust particles are moving in the air, so it causes our breathing problems and affects our lungs. It also causes traffic accidents, because when the dust particles are present in the air, so it loses the visibility of the driver or the rider. So it causes traffic accidents. It also causes eye irritation and eye disorders. So it affects our health in such ways. Yes. So class, what happens when the deposited soil forms a hill? When the wind causes the soil particles to be moved from one place to another, it causes the formation of hills of deposited soil particles and form deserts and beaches. It occurs along the deserts and beaches. Mostly it happens in the Makran coast of Balochistan, where the sand dunes take particles of the soil and sedimentary particles or the eroded particles with them, and causes them to be deposited on the other place where it forms hills. So this is the all about wind erosion which we have discussed, that eroded particles are moved from one place to another by the fast flowing winds, and it causes the hills where at the places where there is no hills and sand dunes are present already. And it also affects our health, and also affects our fertile land where the plants are grown. And how the hills of deposited soils formed, as you have seen in this picture, when the wind moves from that place, it causes the erosion of the soil particles, and it moves from that place and deposited here, where it forms a hill of soil particles which are moved from wind with that place. So this is the phenomena by which erosion happens and the soil particles move from that place to that place, and strong winds can lift particles of dust to very high altitudes and transport them thousands of kilometers. So the particles of dust that can move at high altitudes, it stays in the air and bring down back to the earth with the help of rain. As raindrops collect particles of dust as they fall, when the rainwater evaporates, when the sun shines after the rainy season, so the rainwater evaporates and the dust particles that bring along with them down to the earth stays here and forms a layer of dust which forms the hill. So class, this is all about wind erosion which we have discussed today. I hope you all get this and understand it well. For your further comprehension and convenience, I will add a short video related to wind erosion in the end. Okay class, Allah Hafiz.
And reduces the capacity of our reservoirs. Erosion removes the topsoil first, eventually exposing the less productive subsoil beneath. In the most severe cases, eroded land may no longer be productive and must be abandoned. Soil erosion is a gradual process that is caused by two forces of nature, water and wind. Water erosion begins with the force of each individual raindrop. Raindrops may seem insignificant, but they strike the ground with amazing force. Rain can pound the ground at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. An intense storm on bare soil can loosen and detach up to 100 tons of soil per acre. Wind erosion occurs as the wind picks up and moves small particles of soil. As wind speeds increase, the amount of soil picked up on a bare field may easily double or even triple. For instance, if a 20-mile-per-hour wind increases to 30 miles per hour, the rate of erosion triples. There are three distinct types of wind erosion: creep, saltation, and suspension. Laboratory studies have shown that more than half of all soil eroded by wind is moved by saltation, with the remainder about equally divided between suspension and surface creep. Wind erosion typically begins at ground level, as the wind causes soil particles to roll or creep over the ground. Particles roll or slide in almost continuous contact with the soil surface. Creep erosion is an extremely slow process and difficult to see without a lot of time and measurements. Wind-moving soil particles in a hopping or bouncing fashion is called saltation. With each bounce, the grains typically reach heights of less than 2 inches above the surface and move horizontally about 2 to 4 inches. The impact of the particles falling back to earth dislodges additional soil that is sent in the downwind direction. Wind erosion is most visible during the suspension stage, when soil is actually moving through the air. This is seen most dramatically during a dust storm. Soil particles suspended in the air can move hundreds or even thousands of miles before they are deposited. Water and wind erosion are naturally occurring processes that have been accelerated by many human activities, such as farming, construction, and other soil disturbance activities. Everyone should